Good morning, Year 2. Welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. I would like you to write today's date and skill into your book, please. The date today is Wednesday the 24th of February 2021, and your skill is to estimate measurements using a variety of scales. I'd like you to write this in your book now, please, and then unpause the video when you're ready to begin today's lesson. Okay, let's recap. Yesterday we started looking at measurements. Can you remember the 4 types of measurements that we looked at? Don't worry if you can't remember them all. I'd like you to discuss this with either someone at home or someone next to you, or have a little think on your own, please. Pause the video now, please. Okay, so we looked at weight, temperature, capacity and length. What do we use then to measure length, weight, capacity and temperature? What equipment do we use? Pause the video and discuss this now, please. Okay, so to discuss this, we're going to play a game. Can you match the equipment to the type of measurement? So we've got weight, length, capacity and temperature. So, measuring cylinder. Do we use a measuring cylinder to measure weight, length, capacity or temperature? What do you think? So you could even hold up your fingers. So we could have weight, number 1, length is 2, capacity is 3 and temperature is 4. What do we think? A measuring cylinder. Well done, we use a measuring cylinder to measure capacity. What about balance scales? What do we use? We use it to measure weight, length, capacity or temperature. What do you think? Well done, we use it to measure weight. Measuring tape, what about this one then? Excellent, we use a measuring tape to measure length. A thermometer, what do we think? Excellent, temperature. What about this one then, a meter stick? Do we use this for weight, length, capacity or temperature? Brilliant, Year 2, we use it to measure length. Electric scales now then, what do we use them for? Well done, weight. And a measuring jug, what might we use that for? Weight, length, capacity or temperature? Well done, capacity. And last but not least then, a ruler. I know we use a ruler all the time to underline, but what do we use in Year 2? But what do we use that to measure? Is it weight, length, capacity or temperature? Excellent, well done, it's length. Good work, Year 2. Good matching. Okay, so here is a bit of a problem for you now to get you thinking. So Riley was hosting a birthday party with her friends. She asked them if they would like anything to drink. Matt said he would like some squash. He wanted exactly 20 millilitres of orange squash, 20 millilitres of apple squash and 60 millilitres of water. So he's very particular, isn't he, with that order there. Riley's measuring jug, however, only counted in 50 millilitre increments. What could she do? So she can't measure it exactly. What could she do? Okay, have a little bit of a hint, have a look at your skill. That might help you. And I would like you to pause the video and discuss this now, please. Well done. So she could estimate, she could have a sensible guess, couldn't she, as to how much liquid she is pouring in. So she can get her jug that goes up in 50 millilitre increments, and she knows where 50 is, so she can use that to gauge where 60 would be and where 20 would be, so that she can measure the orange squash, the 20 millilitres of orange squash, the 20 millilitres of apple squash and the 60 millilitres of water. Well done. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today then. We're going to be estimating. Okay, and I'm going to read a couple of questions to you now, and I want you at the end of when I've asked all of the questions to just have a think about them and see how many you can answer. So, what does estimate mean? When might we need to estimate? Why are estimations helpful? What might happen if our estimation is completely wrong, if it's really far off? And how accurate or specific should an estimate be when we are measuring? Okay, so I would like you to pause the video and discuss these questions now, please. Let's see them. Estimating is an educated guess, so it's a sensible guess about something. And we need to make estimates lots in daily life. For example, how long it would take to get to school and therefore what time to leave. Now, if we estimate that our journey is going to take 10 minutes and it actually takes 9, then that's a sensible estimation, isn't it? Because we will get there, won't we? We'll get there on time. However, if we estimate that our journey is going to take 10 minutes and actually the journey takes an hour, then are we going to get there on time? No, well done, we're going to be very late. Okay, so that's why it's really important that when we estimate, we do it sensibly. So, good estimations are helpful if we don't have the correct equipment to take accurate measurements. So for example, when making squash, if you didn't have a measuring jug, then you could make a sensible estimate as to how much liquid you are pouring, for example. If we make bad estimations, then they will be wrong, and that means whatever we're estimating won't work. When we estimate, we need to be as close to the right answer as we can be. For example, if I'm estimating how much pasta to put in for my dinner into the pan and I empty the whole packet of pasta, then I'm going to have way too much pasta and everyone's going to be eating pasta for days. So it's really important that when we're estimating, we're doing a sensible guess. Okay. For today's activity then, you're going to be estimating objects and then using the correct equipment. If you have it, if you don't have it at home, don't panic. You can just estimate. That's the main goal of today. That's our skill, to estimate. If you do have it, then you can find the accurate measurement too. Before we do that, I want you to have a little think. When we use scales, what do we need to remember? Pause the video and discuss this question, please. Excellent. So scales should always start at 0. If they start at 5 and we weigh something, for example, it's going to be 5 over, isn't it? The actual reading. Make sure that you look at the increment the scale is going up in and that nothing is impacting the scale. For example, if someone's pushing onto the scale, we're not going to get an accurate reading. Time for our guided practice now then. We're going to have a go together, and with this example we're going to estimate the length, okay, so not the weight or the capacity, we are estimating the length of the pencil, and then after we've estimated I'm going to use my ruler to accurately measure it, okay. So here is my pencil. I would like you to have a look at this and think, how long is this pencil? Now, are we going to use centimetres or are we going to use metres for this pencil? Well done, we're going to use centimetres because that is a smaller unit of measure. This pencil is not going to, we're not going to use metres to measure this because it's quite small, aren't we? So I would like you to have a sensible guess then and estimate the length of this pencil, please. How many centimetres do you think it is? Pause the video now, please. Let's see then. So we started at 0, you can see here my pencil is straight on 0, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimetres. So the tip of my pencil is just above the 6. So my pencil is actually 6 centimetres long. So if you estimated that it was 5 centimetres or 7 centimetres long, or even 4 or 8 centimetres, well done, you were very, very close. If you estimated that this pencil was 110 centimetres long, what do we think? Was that a sensible estimate, or do we think that was not a sensible estimate? What do you think? Put your thumbs up or down. Well done. If we thought it was 110 centimetres, we were well off, weren't we? That was not a sensible estimate. Okay, so time for your independent practice now. Your task today is to estimate and measure a range of objects and then record it into this table. Okay, now this table is going to be as a PDF on the school website underneath this video. Okay, but if you don't have a printer or you don't want to print it out, that's fine. On the next slide it's going to be much bigger, so you can copy it into your book. Okay, you can draw it, try and use a ruler if you've got one, but if not, don't worry. And you are going to complete your task using this table. Okay, before we do that then, before you either print it out or copy it into your book, let's go through your steps to success. The first thing you need to do is gather a range of objects from around your house. The second thing you need to do, you need to estimate the weight, length or capacity of the items you've gathered. Number 3, record your estimate in the table, and you're going to record it in here. So you're going to either draw a picture or write the object's name in this box, and then your estimate will go here, okay? As to how long or how much you think it weighs, or the capacity, your estimate about the capacity will go in there, okay? You're then going to accurately measure the object, okay, using the equipment that we thought about at the beginning of the lesson. And you're going to record it in the table. Now, a little challenge then is to use the correct unit of measure when you're recording. Now, if you were recording the weight of a keyring, for example, you will record in grams. If you were recording the length of a paperclip, you would record it in centimetres. So you need to think really carefully about the unit of measure when you're estimating and when you write in your actual measurement, okay? So here is the table, And I would like you to print this out or write this into your book now, please, and complete the activity. Good luck, Year 2. Okay, well done. I'm sure you've all had lots of fun there. So challenge time now then, our reasoning challenge. Lisa says that her pencil weighs 17 centimetres. Phoebe says her pencil cannot weigh 17 centimetres. Why is Phoebe correct? So I want you to have a think really carefully about this. Think about the unit of measure and that she's weighing, okay? And I would like you to discuss this with the person next to you. Why is Phoebe correct? Pause the video, please. Okay, Phoebe is correct because centimetres are used to measure length. Lisa has the wrong unit of measure when she was recording her findings, so she's not put the right unit of measure down. She should have used grams, okay? So even better, if so, well done if you said that centimetres is wrong because centimetres is for length, but even better if you could identify that actually she should have used grams, okay? Final thought then. How many grams are in a kilogram and how many millilitres are in a litre? How many centimetres are in a metre? Okay, so I would like you to have a think about these questions as your final thought, and I would like to see if you get the right answer. So it's a little recap from our learning the other day. So pause the video please and discuss this. Now done, let's see. So there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, there are 1,000 millilitres in a litre, and there are 100 centimetres in a metre. Well done if you got all three of those right. They're quite tricky things to remember, aren't they? Well done, I hope you have. I really enjoyed this maths lesson and have an excellent day, Year 2. Goodbye.